let's talk about women in conservation. A lot of natural bias leads us to think that conservation naturally is female-centered because societal bias leads us to believe that women are natural caretakers, which is what conservation needs. But what is often forgotten is that conservation is a science, and there is still a huge deficit when it comes to women in STEM. Jane Goodall, one of the most prominent women in conservation, had immense barriers for getting her work to be viewed as credible because male professionals wrote off a lot of her early work as invalid. They thought her belief that chimpanzees having personalities and giving them names was not legitimate and was happening just because she was a woman. People believed that she, being a woman, was too empathetic to animals and therefore unable to collect accurate data as she didn't view them solely as research objects. Often, we go back to this idea of how big of a push there was for women in STEM for people in my generation growing up. But to put it in perspective, many of the people who wrote off the research of so many women, age-wise, were the teachers of current professors. We're essentially one academic generation away from this mindset being commonplace. On top of that, conservation is not a very accessible field professionally. The pay's not great, and there's a huge emotional weight and toll that the work takes on you. And it is absolutely worth everything. But when you are putting someone who is trying to make a living in the position of picking their passion or affording the cost of living, it's a privilege to be able to pick. This is absolutely not the case for every conservation job, but it's a reality for many, especially with recent funding cuts. Society has placed such a high value on the cost of living to where many people can't afford to work to protect the future of life on this earth. This is what inspires me to make videos about animals and conservation. There are not only so few female figures in conservation, but there's no easier way to break down a barrier to education than provide it for free from the comfort of wherever you are. I am immensely privileged, even when the work I'm doing is unpaid and volunteer-based. It's a privilege for me to have the time and funds to do that. It's a privilege to ever be paid. It's a privilege for me to travel, and it's a privilege for me to have any kind of space to share. And when people are in a place of privilege, it's our duty to be an advocate to bridge that gap however we can.